It's time to Christmas craft. Hey Bestie, welcome or welcome back. Let's get crafting with clothespins. Before we start our projects, I want to show you how to take apart the clothespins. Just twist, and then you pull off one side, and then you pull off the piece of metal, and then you just put it aside and move on with your project. Dollar Tree clothespin hack, we're going to actually need 32.5, and then I've got this larger round bead that I got on Amazon. So I'm going to use 6 little individual pieces on each side, which is really 6 clothespins. And then I'm going to put 4 clothespins back to back together and just glue them. So I'm using that same combination of hot glue and tacky glue. Of course, just so you know, you can use any kind of glue you want. This is just my preferred. There's no right or wrong way to do it. We all have our individual preferences, and that's awesome. So you can see here now, I have glued those 6 for each side together with the little flat parts. You see that? And I always try to make the curve go the same direction. So now I'm going to take the 2 that I had already put back to back and attach that. This is going to be an angel, and these are the angel wings that I just am doing right now. So I'm going to add the head now. So that's where the bead's going to go. I'm just going to hot glue in that opening where the ends all meet. I'll do the same thing on the other side and just hold it in place for a little while to make sure it dries nice and solid. So there's our angel head and our angel wings. So now I'm going to take another one that was back to back and hot glue the wider side of it to the head and then add extra glue to secure it. And now I'm going to start taking individual halves of the clothespins with the little curvy side pointing up and just put them going down for the angel's body, and then I'll put one in between each of those because they're angled, so it creates a gap. And I'll just keep doing that all the way till they meet at the very bottom. Do you see that? You can always slow this down. There's a little gear button in YouTube. You can slow it, make it faster, whatever you need. So just so you know, or you can freeze it or do a screenshot. So now I'm going to add one more level in the gaps that have been created. You see what I'm doing? I'm just putting them, and I'm trying to put them in the right direction. I think there's one there that I put in the wrong direction, but I did catch it and fix it. So I'm just setting them in there now so they're all ready to go. And then I'm going to get the glue and start putting them in. And I think I just used hot glue for that part to make it go a little faster. So there it is. Now I'm going to very carefully take my sanding sponge from the Dollar Tree and just make sure I get all the glue off and just smooth it. I'm going to turn it over on the back and add a piece of twine that I looped and tied a knot. And of course, I'll add extra glue and cut off the excess. And I'm not using the tape I usually do because there's no room. Now I'm going to take my Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint. I'm going to paint the front, back, insides as much as I can get to. Then I'm going to take my antique wax by Waverly, and I'm just going to very lightly dry brush, where I put a little on the brush, wipe most of it off, and then kind of drag it around the edges and over it. I've got some of these pearls from Dollar Tree. I'm going to put 3 right down the middle, and then some little berries. And then I've got this pretty little frosted pick. I'm just going to add a piece on each side of that little head there, and that's it. I think this is absolutely gorgeous. This might be my favorite today. I don't know. Let me know what you think. All right, clothespin hack. I'm going to need 22 clothespins. So I'll take 2 packages. Actually, I only needed 1 package. And I'm just going to pull apart the metal part and get that out of there. I'm going to put 22 of these together. So I'm just going to go back to back, and I'm going to be making a circle. So those pointier ends will be in the middle, and that's where you want to make your circle. There you go. Now I'm going to take a combination of tacky glue and hot glue. This is my preferred way to do it. Sometimes I'm in a hurry. I only use the hot glue, but just, when I'm really trying to make something way more solid, I'm going to use both. So I'll just put little dots of each, put them together, wipe away as much of the excess as I can while it's still wet. And there you go. You can see all 22 of them. And now I'm just going to glue those flat pieces together so that I can start the circle. And you really have to hold this, they're so small, you really have to hold this close so that your middle part lands the way you want it. Now mine's not perfect, but it does turn out really nice. There you go. Originally I was going to make a trivet, but these clothespins are a little smaller, so there's half of it. And so I end up making an ornament out of this instead. So there it is. They are all glued together. I think that looks so pretty. So bigger clothespins would make a great trivet. I'm going to very carefully take my sanding sponge from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to sand off any excess glue and just kind of smooth the top. Then I'm going to take my antique wax from Waverly and a paper towel. You could use a cloth, you could use a brush and then wipe it off, but I figured I'll just do it at the same time. You can add as much as you want to get it as dark or as light as you want, or you could even spray it down with water and do kind of like a watered down version. But I love the shade that this turned out. I am going to do both sides. And once I have both sides done, then I'm going to take that paper towel and just go around the edges. I didn't worry too much about way on the inside. I think it kind of looked cool actually to have a little bit of that natural wood showing. So it's all finished now. I'm going to go ahead and take a piece of twine, loop it, tie a knot, and hot glue it right to the back of this ornament. I'll trim off the excess and add some more hot glue to make sure it's very secure. Now I've got this little poinsettia from a garland that I got at Michael's, and I think it's going to look great in the center. So I'm going to turn it around and put hot glue on the back of the petals because there is that hole in the middle. So I've got to put it there where it's going to hit the clothespins, and then press it down. Then I'm going to turn it over and add some more hot glue back in the center there and nip off the excess just to make sure it's very secure. I mean, this is a very lightweight ornament. I'm not too worried about it, but I just wanted to make sure. I think this one turned out beautiful. I love it. I love the contrast of the red on the stained wood. I just think it's gorgeous. You'll have to let me know what you think. For this, I'm going to take 12 of the Dollar Tree clothespins. I'd call them kind of medium size. They're not the big ones and they're not the teeny ones. And then I've also got those really pretty gold kind of glittery berries. I'm going to break them apart, and then what I'm going to do is put the backs together so that the rounded sides are on the outside, and I'm going to do that for half of these, so 6 of them. And then once I have all 6 of those done, and I'm just using hot glue for this because it just goes really fast. Now that I have, it looks like 5, but I did add a 6th one. Then I'm going to take the remaining ones and I'm just going to put the rounded side towards the inside, and then those flat sides at the bottom, put them together so it looks like a little kind of triangle. See that? And I'll do that with 6 of those as well. Now I'm going to go every other one and hot glue those little edges together. There's kind of like a little angle on the ones that are glued back to back. And then I'll just do that all the way around until I get it into the shape of a circle, or in this case, it's a poinsettia. There it is. Now I'm going to take my lacquer Waverly chalk paint, and I'm going to paint the whole thing. Now, you know, the parts that are really hard to get in the middle, I'll try to get them, but I mean, it's not perfect, and I'm okay with that. Now I'm going to just go ahead and add my hanger now by taking a little piece of twine, looping it in half, tying a knot, and then I'm going to hot glue it to the very back. And I'll, of course, trim off the remaining little piece there after I put a little more hot glue on the top to secure it. Now I've got a piece of red felt, and I'm going to figure out if I have got this something that's the right size to fit around the back of the poinsettia. I'm just going to trace that and then trim it out. And it does end up being a teeny bit too big, but that's good, better than too small. So what I'll do is I'll check it out on the back there and see how it looks. And then I'll just go ahead and trim a little bit more off because I don't want that showing around the edges. I just want it to be more in that middle because it's going to be a place where we can glue those little gold glittery berries to. So I'm going to add some hot glue all along the back and set that little round piece of red felt right on there. Use my little spatula that you can get at Dollar Tree, by the way, or Amazon, and just put that on there. And that way you don't burn yourself. Now I'm going to take my nippers and get rid of the stem on those gold berries and kind of twist off some and nip off some, and basically just put hot glue and put them in. And make sure the parts where I like ripped it off where you see the white styrofoam are down so you don't see those. And that's the easiest way to deal with the glittery one because I didn't have any gold glitter to fix them if I needed to. So I'm just going to fill in the entire inside, and that's it. I think this turned out beautiful. I love this one. Please let me know what you think. For this, Bestie's Cheryl, she knows who she is, gave me this idea. I guess her husband came up with it as far as what to do with these little pieces from the clothespins. So you've got it, you've taken it off the wooden part, and now you can just hot glue it right to something and create a hanger. Now I know the star has a hanger, but I just needed something to show you an example. So you just glue on that little flat part, and then you can just, after it dries, you can just hang it. Isn't that a great idea? Now, in this case, let's say you needed 2, you could do that, but like this one already has one, just pretend it doesn't. Anyway, thank you to Cheryl's husband and Cheryl for giving me that great information. I just wanted to pass it along to you as well. So these metal pieces that are left over after you separate the clothespins, I came up with an idea to do something with them. So I'm going to take 10 of them for this first thing. And the bottom part that's flat comes like open, and it can go right into the next one in that little round, like spirally looking part. And you can put one on, you open it up and put the ends on each side. And now you can create like a chain. So I'm going to put 10 together for this particular project. This is so fast and easy. Oh my gosh. The hardest part is just separating that little piece, not because it's tight, but because it wants to stay in place. So once you get them in, like I said, I'm going to do 10 of these. So there they are. Now I'm going to go ahead and attach the final two ends to make like what looks like a circle. Now I'm going to shape it into a star. So it takes a little bit. You gotta have to hold it in place while you keep moving it. But once you get it, it is so adorable. Oh my gosh, look at this as it takes shape. You'll see. What a cute little star. What a great idea for an ornament. I love it. So anyway, now that I've got it, I'm going to take a piece of red and white baker's twine. I'm just going to put it through the very top, tie a knot, and literally that's it for this one. It came out so cute. Can you imagine making a whole bunch of these or like a little garland with them? How pretty would that be? So now I'm going to make one more using these little metal pieces. I'm going to take 14 of these and I'm going to make another chain. So I'm just going to keep going and I'm going to turn it into a circle after I attach all the little ends into the little spiral pieces. This does go very fast. I don't even really have this sped up. It's just really easy to do. There's my chain. So now what I'm going to do is fold 2 at the top and make a circle so it looks like an ornament. And then I'm going to take my red and white baker's twine, loop it through, tie a knot at the top, and there we have a little round metal ornament. So cute. Oh my gosh, I can't believe how easy these were, and what a great way to use these up. I mean, and look, you have to shape it once in a while, but I bet there's a lot of other shapes we could come up with. You have to let me know your ideas for other shapes and things we could do with these. Let me know in the comments. Regular size clothespins. And then I've got a wreath ring from the Dollar Tree, a small one, and 2 sets of napkins, one from the Dollar Tree. And then I've got some burlap. What we're going to do is we're going to take the burlap, we're going to wrap it around once on the wreath ring and hot glue it to itself. And then we will just start wrapping around, kind of overlapping until we get around the entire wreath ring. And like I said, this was a smaller one. I think they're like 6 or 8 inches. And then on the back, I'm just going to hot glue the end of it down and trim off any excess. I thought this would be a great Christmas gift idea. I'm going to take one of those metal connectors and do the same thing I did before, thread some jute through the little squiggly parts, hot glue it directly to the back as our hanger. I'm going to trim a little bit of the jute because I had too much, but I will go ahead and hot glue that down. And then I will also hot glue down the remaining jute. That way it's nice and secure. And what a great way to have a hanger. One of my beautiful viewers suggested this. Actually, it was her husband's idea. So I love sharing those ideas. I'm going to take one of the napkins that I had. I'm going to take a little piece of tape and put it on the end. And when you do that, it's so easy to separate the plies. This is a 2-ply napkin. I think this one came from Pop Shelf and I got it when I was out of town. Unfortunately, we don't have one here. I'm going to cut away the part of the napkin that doesn't have a pattern. And then I'm just going to turn over the part that does have a pattern so I see the back side. I'm going to put a generous amount of hot glue on the back of each of those clothespins until I have however many I want in this pattern I'm going to do. So because I've got 2 napkins, I'm going to have 2 different patterns on my napkins. So you can decide what number you want to do. Here's my other napkin, which is from the Dollar Tree, also a 2-ply, and I will separate it the same way and attach the clothespins exactly the same way. Once they dry, I'll turn it over and add another coat of Mod Podge to the top. When that dries, I'm going to cut away the excess paper and then cut between each clothespin so that I just have a clothespin with a little bit of napkin hanging over the edges. Once I got them all cut out, I'm going to take a little sanding sponge, or you could use a nail file, and in a downward motion, I'm going to go around and I'm just going to get a clean edge by going down on the sides and sanding off the excess, and it just leaves such a beautiful edge. I will show you. Look at that, perfectly clean. So I'm going to do that to all the rest of the clothespins. There they are. Now I've got my wreath all ready to start gluing them on. I'm going to start like a clock, and I'm going to pick one clothespin at 12 o'clock, one at 3, one at 6, and one at 9. It always makes it easier to even things out. Now, I'm not going to say that I always even them out perfectly even when I do this, but I'm just telling you it's a great tip to do it. So now I'm going to start working out whatever pattern I decide to do. So So there they are. All 23 are on there right now. I attached tea bags. That's what I decided to do. You could put pictures, anything you want. What a fun idea for a wreath. Let me know if you'd like to try this one. I know I'd love to receive this as a Christmas gift. How about you? Are you ready for more inspiration? I've got another video here I think you will really like. Click on it. I will see you there. You are truly a blessing to me. Bye.